Welcome back, guys. Today we'll be doing May 2019 CSEC Mathematics question 2. Let's get started. We're going to simplify the following expression, 3p squared times 4p to the fifth. Now, we are going to multiply the two numbers together. So I multiply 3 times 4, and that will give me 12. So I go ahead and write my 12. Then we're going to multiply the variables by applying indices. When we're multiplying, we write the base and add the power. So 2 plus 5 gives me 7. So if you're wondering, how is it that I get 7? Remember, p squared means p times p being twice, and p to the fifth means I'm having p 5 times. So when I total the amount of p's I have, it is 7, so we rewrite this as p to the 7. So 3 4 is 12. Then I write p ones, applying laws of indices. Bases are the same, so we write the base ones and add the power. So that's how I get the 7. Now remember laws of indices. I have to ensure you understand. So we multiply, we add the powers, and the powers are 2 and 5. So 2 plus 5 will give us the 7 that I have here. Now to look at the next part, division. When we have fractions, just a reminder, if I have 2 over 5 divided by 3 over 7, when I have division, I will change it to multiplication, but reciprocate the last fraction, the second fraction, which is flipping it, so it becomes 7 over 3. This is what I'm going to apply here. Change the division to multiplication, and then I reciprocate or flip the second fraction. Let's get started. So here we're going to rewrite this first fraction as is, but change division to multiplication. Then I reciprocate the fraction that I have here. So I have 20y squared over 21x squared. So we flipped it. Now, what we're going to do next, we are going to multiply across. So I multiply 3 times 20. That will give me 60. And the variables, I'll just multiply to give me xy squared. In the denominator, I will multiply 4 times 21. That gives me 84. And y cubed times x squared, that is y cubed x squared. Now, I need to simplify this. So 12 into 84 goes 7 times, and 12 into 60 goes 5 times. So I have 5 over 7 here. We can also reduce this. So applying laws of indices, when we divide, we write the base ones and subtract the power. So 2 minus 3. Same case for variable x, we write the base ones and subtract the power, 1 minus 2. So then we go ahead and simplify. We will have 5 over 7, then subtracting the power, so 2 minus 3, that's minus 1, so we have y to the negative 1, and 1 minus 2, that's a negative 1, so that's x to the minus 1. Just to repeat what was done, we multiply 3 times the 20 that we have in the numerator to give us 60. X times y, that's xy squared. 4 times 21, that's 84. And y cubed times x squared, that's y cubed x squared. We then simplify the numbers, then apply indices to the variables to get the result that I have. So that's all that I did. But there's more than one way to do this, because we could have done this without applying laws of indices. Suppose you don't remember the laws of indices, then there's another way that we can do it. We're still going to have the simplification 5 over 7, but we are just going to do some cancellation. X can be cancelled here, so I'm just left with x in the denominator. Y squared can be cancelled, so in the denominator I'm just left with y. So what I'm having, remember, y squared over y cubed, it is the same thing as having this as y times y in the numerator. And y cubed is the same thing as y times y times y. So all we did was cancel the y's. So all we're left with is this y that I'm showing right here. So that means what I have, now I'm going to put a 1 in the numerator as a placeholder. Don't just leave it empty. And in the denominator, I will have yx. Now, this is the same thing as x to the minus 1 and y to the minus 1. So don't think it's a different answer. That's another way that we can write it. And we could even write it as 5 over 7yx. Now, we can also do this another way by canceling 3 into 21 goes 7 times, 4 into 20 goes 5 times, y squared cancel it out, so I'm left with a y, and x cancel it out, I'm left with an x here. So in this case, my answer in the numerator, there's a 1 here, that's a placeholder. 5 times 1, that's 5, and y times 7x, that's 7xy or 7yx. And all of these are possible answers that are correct. That's a lovely thing about math. Now this next question, we are going to solve the equation. Now solving this equation, it's in fraction form, so I will have to find the LCM. Now, how do we find the LCM? Just a reminder, I will be showing using an example where we have numbers. So if I have two fractions being added, 1 over 3 plus 1 over 2, the LCM will be 6, lowest common multiple is 6. Or some persons will say 3 times 2. So that's the same concept I'm going to use. I'm going to multiply 7x minus 1 times x. Now, when we're finding the LCM, we say 3 into 6 goes 2 times. Then I multiply the numerator by 2. So 2 times 1, that's 2. Then I have 2 into 6 goes 3 times. Then 3 times 1, that gives me 3. It's the same concept. 7x minus 1 in the denominator, this will cancel. So we're left with an x. So we multiply x times the value that I have in the numerator, which is 3. So that will give me 3x. Then I write my plus x into the denominator, the x cancel. So in the numerator, I will have 7x minus 1. And 7x minus 1 times 1, that gives us what we have here. Now, the next step is to simplify the numerator. I have 3x plus 7x that are like terms. That will give me 10x. We add the 3 plus the 7, that gives me 10, and I rewrite the x minus 1. Don't forget the denominator. We haven't gotten rid of it as yet. Now, to get rid of the denominator, I am going to multiply both sides by 7x minus 1 times x. So that's how we're going to get rid of what is in the denominator. It's just like if I have 3x over 2 equals 0. To get rid of the 2, I will multiply both sides by 2. So multiply the left hand side by 2 and the right hand side by 2. And the 2's would have cancelled. And we can proceed to solve. Another way is that we can cross multiply. Some persons do it that way. So carry the 2 over. So 2 times 0, that's 0. And go ahead and solve. So I'm going to proceed to use the first method. So first I'm going to multiply both sides by 7x minus 1 times x. So because we have it in the denominator, to get rid of it, we have to multiply both sides. So that's why we're multiplying both sides by the result that I have here. Now doing this, on the left hand side, we are going to cancel the 7x minus 1 times x. They cancel. So I no longer have a fraction here. So I have 10x minus 1. And then on this side, multiplying anything by 0, that's just 0. So proceed to solve. Make x a subject, carry the -1 over the equal sign, it becomes +1. Then divide both sides by 10. The 10's cancel, so I have x is equal to 1 over 10. And that's the answer. When a number x is multiplied by 2, the result is squared to give a new number y. We need to express y in terms of x. We are going to transform the worded problem into an algebraic form. When we say x is multiplied by 2, that means 2x. So I will rewrite this as 2x. But then we say the result is squared. So we square all of this, and it says when it's squared, it gives a new number which is called y. So this will be equal to y. So simplifying the result that I have here, 2 squared is 4, and I square my x, that will be x squared equal y. Now the next part says determine the two values of x that satisfy the equation y equal x and the equation derived in C part 1. So we have y is equal to x, that's is equation 1, and then I have 4x squared equal y, and I will call this equation 2. Now, I am going to substitute equation 1 into equation 2. I have 4x squared equal y. I have the information that y is equal to x. So wherever I see the variable x, I can replace it with this letter y. So this y, I will be replacing it with x because equation 1 says wherever I see the letter y, I can replace it with x. And you can go vice versa. You could have replaced x with y because it says y is equal to x. So replacing this y, what I will have is 4x squared equal x. Then I carry the x over the equal sign, so I have 4x squared minus x is equal to 0. Now, I am going to factor out x that's common. So factoring out x, what is left is 4x minus 1 equals 0. So I factor out x. X squared means x times x. I factor out the x. So these I factor out. So when I factor out x, I'm just left with 4x. I factor out this x, so to put 1 as a placeholder here. Now I'm going to separate it. Now recall when you're factorizing a quadratic and we reach at this step, usually the next step that we will take is to equate each bracket to be equal to 0. So I will have x minus 3 equals 0, and I will have x plus 5 equals 0. That's what we would have done. So it's the same case here. This x will be equal to 0. So I have x is equal to 0. And then this bracket will be equal to 0. So I have 4x minus 1 equal 0. Just as so when we were doing the factorization, x minus 3 equals 0 and x plus 5 equals 0. It's the same concept here. X is equal to 0 and 4x minus 1 equals 0. Solving, we carry this over the equal sign, so we have 4x is equal to positive 1. Then we divide both sides by 4. This cancels, so x is equal to a quarter. So I have two answers. I have x is equal to a quarter and x is equal to 0. And that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Have a great day.